And we are live for Social Monkey number 3. And guess what? It's only me! There's no one else here, it's just me on my own today. Unfortunately, yesterday, the two guys that I wanted to come on and speak to me about what they're up to at the moment were relatively busy with their new venture. Massive online followings that they're getting at the moment. I don't want to mention too much in a minute because I want them to talk about it when they come on. But yeah, we'll go into that in more depth. But that will be coming potentially episode 4, episode 5. So with me today, it's only going to be a short one because I appreciate my last few have been rather long. But again, discussions do go on for a while. Now, my main topic of conversation, as people know me most, would be football. I'm a massive armchair football fan. Manchester United fan. Always have been, always will be. The old man, when he was alive, he was covered in the old tattoos. Man United badge on the arm. You know, made sure that I was through and through Manc football shirt every season. And that's followed me as well. I'll get the shirt every single year, without fail. So looking at the Europa League draw at the minute for United, we've got Copenhagen next in the quarterfinals. And it's looking pretty promising. I mean, there's still some tough teams in there. You've got to look at the Inter Milan, obviously the reject Premier League side. They've got half of the players that wanted more money and wanted first team football. And let's be honest, Inter didn't do too bad, only finishing a point behind Juventus. And that was Juventus' worst title win in 9 years, if you can actually put it that way. 9 consecutive titles, and this was the worst points tally, which resulted in Maurizio Sarri being actually sacked by Juventus yesterday, which I thought was quite surprising. Just shows how important the Champions League is to these European sides. And within a click of a finger, Andrea Pirlo has now taken over as the Juventus manager for the next 2 seasons. So it'd be interesting to see how another player, legendary player, moves into a managerial position and takes on such a massive job. Again, pretty much like Solskjaer. But looking at Copenhagen, I'd expect United to get through that. Wolves Sevilla is going to be a fantastic game, and with Wolves as well, the poor bastards being hit with a £30 million bill from UEFA for breaching the financial fair play rules. I don't know if it's UEFA run out of money. They only fined City 30 million for all the shenanigans they were getting up to, all the cheating they've been done over the years. Now, being a Man United fan, obviously it's come out that we were doing some tapping up back in the day, but speaking to someone and throwing a bag of money at someone, I think is a little bit different in that respect. So Wolves have breached financial fair play of 30 million euros or 27 million pounds. So the deficit, for them, obviously is pretty big. Wolves have held their hands up and gone, yeah, all right, we're wrong. But let's be honest, in the current climate, footballers have been paid an astronomical amount of money and there's no fans coming in. So why do you reckon that these people have, not got the financial clout behind them? Use your brains, UEFA. Come on, let's have a think about what you're doing. It's a bit silly, I think, anyway. But Wolves have got a good chance to get Sevilla. I think that's probably the second pick of the ties. Obviously, the massive one in the quarter-final in the Europa League is Inter Milan versus Leverkusen. Couldn't pick one out of that. I think it's going to be a really, really good game. It's only one leg for all of these ties, so it could go either way. And again, with Shakhtar and Basel, again, they've both had good results over the season in Europa League. So even though United potentially should be favourites, there is plenty of banana skins out there for people to take on board. I mean, any of those teams could turn Man United over. Being a United fan, watching us over the last 6 years, the ins and the outs and the terrible football that we've watched, boring football, and it seems that Ollie's got it going the right way, but I'd like to think United could win the Europa League, but I'm not going to hang my hat on it because there is teams there that can definitely turn us over. And let's be honest, if United don't win, I'm going to be fully rooting for Wolves. Absolutely. I would love to see Wolves win the Europa League if Man United don't. They haven't won a European trophy since, I think, the early 70s. And obviously they were quite a force back then. So for Nuno to go on and win a European trophy with Wolves, no one would have picked that out of the hat. Not one person, I can guarantee. They're a good side. So good luck to Wolves. Hopefully they do well. The Champions League was entertaining, to say the least, over the last few days. One thing that I didn't actually clock onto is that Atalanta are still in the Champions League. Currently got PSG in the quarterfinals, with Mbappe not actually playing for PSG in the quarterfinal from injury. They could be the dark horse this season. I mean, City have got Lyon. Again, Lyon could be a banana skin for City. We all know that they've had their defensive problems this season. They haven't been on form like obviously the Scousers have this year. Pick of the ties obviously is going to be Barcelona-Bayern. I think that's going to be a cracking fixture there. I fully expect Atletico Madrid to breeze past Leipzig. If they don't, then that would be a shocker for me. But again, picking a winner out of all of that, I mean, basing it on Bayern's performance against Chelsea yesterday, Lewandowski is a talent. I think he's done well everywhere he's gone. Probably a bit too late for him to come to the Premier League and make an impact like he has in Germany. For Dortmund and for Bayern Munich, absolutely phenomenal striker. And don't forget, obviously they've got the quality behind him as well. I mean, Bayern are consistently buying top-notch talent from in and around Germany. They got Perisic from Inter, who United wanted, but went, oh no, we're not paying that extra bit of money. And Perisic proved last night that on the European stage that he is one of the top Croatian talents. So again, City could win it, but it depends on how staunch they are at the back. But if I was to put money on a side winning the Champions League this season, it'd be Bayern Munich. Just the way they tore Chelsea open yesterday, I thought that was a standing testament. I think Barcelona are going to have trouble with them. And if Bayern don't win it, I'll cheer on the Italians. Sorry, come on Atalanta, let's have a little bit of an upset in the Champions League for a change. It hasn't been one for a while. I think a non-expected Champions League winner. I think when United and Liverpool won the Champions League back in the 90s and the early 2000s, they weren't actually Premier League winners. I think United finished second behind Arsenal the season before, 98. I think Liverpool finished fourth the season they won the Champions League, the Istanbul one. So it'd be nice to see a little bit of the Italians haven't had it great over the last few months, and it'd be nice to see an Italian side win the Champions League, as I've got no allegiances to it this season. So yeah, go on Atalanta if Bayern don't win it. That'd be my one there. Now, obviously a massive congratulations to Liverpool fans. It pains my heart to say that, but the win of the Premier League this season is unprecedented. They have absolutely tore everybody a new one, absolutely everybody. And when they didn't have, when they weren't on form, they lost to, the lower, lesser teams, it didn't really make a difference because they just hopped back on and then they just went and smashed the next team afterwards. As a United fan, I'm glad we took at least a point from them this year. We were lucky enough to get that. I say that lucky enough because when we played them at Anfield, it was an absolute shit show. They tore us apart. So one thing I will say is that I think Liverpool are going to have more of a test next season. I think everybody's strengthening their squads. You look at what the business Chelsea have done. United haven't done business as yet. Getting rid of Sanchez was, fantastic work. The amount of money that geezer was being paid, the highest paid Premier League player in history, and he bags 2 goals in a season and a half. It's absolutely embarrassing. It seems that, United have been consistently having their pants pulled down over transfers over the last few years, and it does pain me to see it. And it reflects on the shirt prices. Come on, United, we're in COVID. £65 for a home shirt when you haven't fucking won nothing. Come on, boys, use your noddle. Not everybody's going to be paying that sort of money out for a shirt. If we win the Europa League, my stance might change. But again, I wouldn't say a brand new shirt every season warrants a £65 price tag, especially when you haven't won anything. And that's coming from a fan. I'd expect £50. I understand that it's a designer top to a degree. But there's more tops that they pump out there. There's more tops. You've got I saw one on Sports Direct. The authentic Manchester United home shirt and all it had was like a white stripe at the arse end of it. A white stripe. That's all it was. And you want an extra 35 quid for that? Come on, use your brains. We've got millions of Manchester United fans around the world, and for the club to be going, right, British customers are paying a premium of £65 for a shirt. Come on, you know. We didn't even pay that when we were winning the treble. When we were winning 3 trophies, Premier League every season, I was buying these shirts. We weren't paying 65 fucking quid for a non-winning shirt. No way. So anyway, enough of me little rant on that one. Arsenal winning the FA Cup, massive relief for Mikel Arteta. Arsenal's season has been an absolute shit show, and for them to win the FA Cup at the end of it, you know, gives them a little bit of shining light at the end of the tunnel. I think Mikel Arteta has definitely picked up a turd there. Lucky enough, he's got some strike force up front, which is definitely going to help their cause. I mean, Lacazette, Aubameyang, you know, really excited for the likes of Reece Nelson that are coming through, English talent again. I think that there's a few other players, I can't put my finger on them now. I'm not an Arsenal fan, so I don't know all of them. Eddie Nketiah, there we go, that's the other chap. He played for Leeds last season on loan. I think those 4, 2 wingers, Lacazette and Aubameyang up front, I think Arsenal could do damage, but again, they're so poor at the back. You know, you've got Coco the Clown, old Sideshow Bob, and then his son, Guendouzi, not really doing the business, I don't think, this season. I think a lot of Arsenal fans were disappointed that David Luiz turned up in an Arsenal shirt. And there's rumours that Willian might be turning up as well. I think that Chelsea are doing really good business by offloading all of their took to these other Premier League sides that only last for a couple of seasons. I mean, Matic, we got from Chelsea to United. At first, it was like, is he just a Serbian Fellaini? And luckily enough, over the last few months, he's proved that he's not. He's actually an integral part of the side. But I can't see Guendouzi being that for Arsenal. He's young. You know, he's impetulant. We've seen that with the way he spoke to a Brighton player over the end of the season. So I think that if Stan Kroenke wants to get his money out for a change and go, look, we're not going to spend 80 million on a winger that we're never going to play. Let's invest in some central defenders and at least probably a couple of wing backs Arsenal would need, I think, to at least push for a European spot next season, because they finished outside of it this year. I think finishing 8th doesn't get you nothing in Europe. It goes as low as 7th, depending on the cup winners. And obviously, them winning the cup, I think that they've become now they're not even with United. They're now above United, whether it's by 1 or 2 in FA Cup wins. So congratulations to Arsenal on that one. I think the Arsenal fans Arsenal fans gave a big sigh of relief after that cup final was over, as well as being joyous and happy. With that, I think that going into next season, there needs to be a lot more focus on getting rid of VAR. I was more happy with the injustice of a referee getting it wrong because of human error. The VAR has been an absolute nightmare. United have been given multitudes of penalties this season. Some have been dubious, some have been bang on. Liverpool, multiple decisions going their way. Bournemouth getting absolutely done in the arse from their ghost goal. You know, I think that I've got to make a decision that they've got to go away, get rid, come back when it's better. Have at least footballing people. I would say referees need to be in the VAR system rather than some jobs worth from the FA. It goes, oh, well, you know, you might as well put fans in there because you're going to get the same outcome. So VAR definitely needs to be changed going forward. Next year as well, next season, where we've missed out on the European Championships, it's going to be happening next year. So we've got a massive major tournament coming, and then the season after, it's literally going to be like 6 or 7 months, and we've got the World Cup 2022 in Qatar. So I don't know how that's going to all pan out, because that's supposed to be in the winter months because of the heat. So that's going to be interesting to have 2 major international tournaments in the space of a year of each other. That is going to be quite interesting. Anyone winning the European Championships, we'd all like England to finally fucking lift that trophy, wouldn't we? You know, I think that we've had some of the best talent in Europe for a long time, and it just seems that we just recruit the wrong managers. Gareth Southgate has done a fantastic job as England manager, getting us to the World Cup semi-finals. You know, all right, we had a bit of a run where you'd expect us to get there, and to be honest, I would have thought we would have got to the final, but you know, Croatia have got some good players there. And I think that France probably had a little bit more to offer in a final than what we did. I think that, you know, going on England's history when it comes to big games, we do buckle in the big tournaments, unfortunately. Whether it's down to a referee injustice, whether it's down to players getting sent off, either which way, I think England would do all right. But again, it's like a flip of a coin, which England are you actually going to fucking get. I won't be buying the England shirt for it either. It's another money scam that we keep falling upon. When the World Cup, hopefully Nigeria come up in the World Cup, because I bought their shirt for the last one, and I'm still wearing it today. I think it's fucking brilliant. I love the design of the Nigeria shirt rather than the boring old England white one. I'm sure a designer can come up with a proper good-looking England shirt rather than just the plain white tat that cost you 80 quid that no one wants to fucking buy. So that'd be nice to see all that coming through. When it comes to transfers, you know, with the football side of things, it doesn't half piss me off, because you just get all of this nonsense. Like, well, the personal terms have been agreed, that's been agreed, oh, it's just a matter of time, and then a week later, oh no, the deal's off. So I can see the way that these media companies try and pull people in. Oh, it's virtually done. Ignore it. It's nice to think that you're going to be getting these players, but you know, as a Man United fan, I take it with a pinch of salt, because you think if you're a supporter, right, and you support, I don't know, Championship club, lower Premier League club, for whatever, right, all of a sudden your team is linked with a superstar player, and we'll hear in the headlines, oh, due to Burnley's new financial clout, they're going to be paying £120 million for Kevin De Bruyne. Now, a lot of Burnley fans will go, fucking yes, please, we'll have some of that. But someone would be like, it was only 10 years ago, our club wasn't even worth £120 million. You know, and that would have gone the same way with Newcastle. You would have looked at that with Chelsea, even with City. It was only just over a decade ago City were in Southend United's league, in League 1 and 2. Anyone to say that they would be paying for players in the amount that they're currently looking at the moment. I mean, going back to City cheating, financial fair play hasn't been broken. No. City are exempt from all of that. They've got to pay a little fine because they've done it a little bit. As soon as they got away with it, boom, £41 million for Nathan Ake. A defender that got relegated from the Premier League, not even an international. Well, that just goes to show, doesn't it? You know, the levels that they could not give a shit about how much money they're spending. So when you go back to these lower league clubs that will potentially have these new owners that throw all this money at the club, you think how much could be invested in the club rather than giving it to a one player that's a superstar. We've seen it over the years happen continuously. It happened to Leeds. They've absolutely had an awful time trying to get back in the Premier League. Finally, Bielsa's done it, and he's got a shit-hot team to take them back up again, because Leeds have looked good this season. But again, when Leeds come up, they're going to have to spend money that they're going to be all these teams coming up from the Championship are going to be breaking their transfer records immediately. Very, very hard. As soon as you hit that Premier League status, that you're going to be getting deals anywhere, especially with the agents' fees that come involved with it, especially with what players want. You've got to move them, you've got to make sure that their families are all set up. There's so much that goes involved. And as a Man United fan, when you see the likes of Di Maria turn up, give half-assed performances, then piss off to PSG with a payoff, and we ended up paying less. We're getting less back from PSG from what we paid Real Madrid for him, and that's happened with so many players that we've had. Lukaku, Sanchez, even though our success has been brought on by so many years of trophy wins and the money that we've generated over the years from the fans and everything else that we've done, don't be given the false impression that as soon as your club's got money that they're going to be spending all of this on fantastic players and your team's going to change. It won't. It doesn't always work that way. Took City years after their owners changed hands. They changed hands with owners, I think, 2 or 3 times before Sheikh Mansour turned up, and they were spending money that was going out of fashion. The Robinhos and the Craig Bellamy's and the Balotellis and all of these players that are on so much money that were there like a fart in the wind, gone. No legend. I mean, Vincent Kompany stands testament to City. He was massive. He was absolutely massive. City captain, legend, and also the charity work that he'd done within the city as well. Regardless of City cheating for financial purposes, what they've done in and around their area is pretty fucking impressive. And what they've done for the area as well is impressive. Not saying United have not done the same, because United have been doing it for ages. But the regeneration that they've done around Manchester City has definitely got to be applauded. It's a fantastic looking stadium, and the facilities look amazing. So again, just be warned on the old transfer front, because it does hurt. When you see that your club's asking you to pay £65 for a football shirt, and then they go and spend they go and spend, I don't know, 120 million on a player. You think, I've paid for that. I've paid for that player to come to my club, but then that player ends up being wank. It happens so often, so often, and hopefully through this COVID, clubs start being a little bit more sensible. Because even though I'd love Jadon Sancho to turn up at Man United, the idea of us paying £120 million for a 21-year-old player does again raise an eyebrow. Because what we paid for Pogba, again, raised an eyebrow. Give him away for nothing, and then we've got to pay Juventus 80 million. Something's going wrong somewhere. Also, I heard that there was a whisper of a salary cap in Leagues 1 and 2. That's just going to make the leagues worse, if anything. My local side, Southend United, are on the brink. I don't even know if they're even going to be a side in the next 2 or 3 years. Supposed to be building a stadium, but I can't see that happening. Sol Campbell made sure he got his payout and got out of there early, didn't he? He didn't want to go back down to League 2 after what happened with Macclesfield. I sincerely hope that they don't put a wage cap on League 2, because there's no need. The clubs haven't got any fucking money anyway, and if any owner's got his right sense, he's not going to be paying astronomical amounts of money to a player that's only going to be there for a year and not going to make a huge difference to the actual club itself, when other investments could be better. Eddie Howe at Bournemouth, resigning, I thought was a big surprise. Geezer's an absolute legend of the game. From where he took Bournemouth to where they are today, all right, they got relegated, but it's a sort of football manager story, isn't it? You think, I'm sick of being all the top clubs. Let's be a shit team. Let's be Bournemouth, and you turn that shit team into potential Europa League contenders, because they were there for 2 or 3 seasons. They've done well, but again, the size of their ground, the financial constraints they had, the owner again still pumped shitloads of money into Bournemouth. They spent some dough over the last few years to try and make sure they stayed competitive, and even though they went down, they were competitive. United lost to Bournemouth. I think most teams at one point lost to Bournemouth because they were a good side. You've got Callum Wilson, obviously Nathan Ake was there. Stanislas has been around Bournemouth for a number of years now. He's a good player. Who's the... I can't remember all of them now, running off the top of my head. This is why you should make notes. But unfortunately for me, my writing's atrocious, so I try and do it all off the top of my head. So next season, my predictions. I think Liverpool, City, Chelsea will be the main 3 challenging for the title next year. With the strength that they've got, strength and depth in all 3 sides, I think they've definitely got chances to win win the Premier League. I forgot to mention, obviously, Chelsea have also signed Hakim Ziyech as well, as another good player. So again, Chelsea have strengthened. No doubt Liverpool will strengthen. The sides that should be up there challenging with them, United, United, Arsenal and Spurs. Again, I think it's going to be a fourth place battle for those guys. Even though I'd love to say Man United could win the league, I think it's very unrealistic. I think we've got a long way to go, and I think Solskjaer needs to be a bit more cohesive with the team and more time given to Solskjaer to make sure the team can challenge. What Klopp did in 3 years at Liverpool will live long in the memory. Champions League finals, Premier Leagues, 4 trophies in one season: Super Cup, Premier League, Champions League, World Cup. That's very, very similar to United's promised land of 1999. Just because they didn't have the FA Cup doesn't mean that what they did this season was absolutely phenomenal. Pains me to fucking say it, but you can't put it round any other way. You really can't. It's absolutely impossible. Hopefully the teams that come up do well. I expect Leeds to stay up. But again, the likes of Fulham, West Brom, I can't see those guys staying up. I think they'll go straight back down. But yeah, there'll be more football podcasts from me. Hopefully I'll get a few more people on, and we can have a one-on-one or one-on-two discussion about what's happening in the football world. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll have a little bit more better sound, because it's very echoey the way it's been. But I'm trying to upgrade my studio as I go. It's very difficult doing a job, being a husband, a father, and trying to get everything sorted in a little room to make sure the quality's all good. But I'm going to persist. I'm going to make sure my voice is still getting out there. So hopefully you like my little discussion about football today. Like, share and subscribe to the channel. There'll be more stuff up and coming in I'd say the next few weeks. I've got some people coming around to do a few bits in the studio to try and make sure that this is the best possible podcast that I can possibly make with my limited resources. I'm not looking for handouts. I'm not looking for people to pay anything. This is just me. My podcast is about me interacting with interesting people I know, and I'll continue to do that for the foreseeable future. But there's going to be gremlins, there's going to be niggles, and there's going to be issues along the way. So fingers crossed, the people that have listened so far will continue to listen to me going forwards, and there'll be more interesting discussion upcoming. As I've described, the football's coming up, and I've got lots more interesting guests to come on as well. So thank you, good night, much love, and I'll speak to you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.